What are literature reviews and why do we do them? Literature reviews are defined as an assessment of the body of research that addresses some research question. So literature review aims to identify what is already known in the research area and what is not known. In other words, what are the research gaps in the area? Quite often, literature reviews are done to justify own research or to create a good basis for your own research. Literature review is a process of several steps. First, you need to know your own research questions, meaning what do you want to find out? Then you search for literature by using various search queries, keywords, and databases. You need to manage your research results to analyze the data, and finally you write an assessment of the literature. So literature reviews your analysis what others have done, and it definitely gives a solid theoretical basis for your own research. Literature review is more than just a random set of Google searches. Proper literature study is more than just an annotated bibliography. It should always tie to the context, to your own topic, and it should be analyzed systematically. Depending on the purpose you do your literature review, you might have different benefits, from showing the related work in your thesis to the development of completely new understanding in your field. Literature reviews come in different forms. Simplest of the approaches is what is seen as annotated bibliography. Annotated bibliography is a list of studies with a brief note of annotation, for example, explaining the content. This could be used in the related work section of your thesis as such. The question is, how do you get your list of annotated bibliography? Is it a result of random searches or something more systematic? If the former, can you really state that you know the field based on these results you have achieved? When you focus on the systematic gathering of the studies, we use the term systematic literature reviews or systematic mapping studies. They have a bit different scope. While mapping studies aim to provide broad overview of some research area, systematic literature reviews aim at providing deeper knowledge in some area. Both of these approaches follow a process with planning, conducting, and reporting phases. Various approaches have been proposed to the subphases of the process. Systematic mapping study and systematic literature review differ in purpose, and thus the research questions and the types of outcomes you are looking for. Another and a bit different approach for systematic coverage of literature is called snowballing. While mapping study and systematic literature review start with a large set of articles, snowballing starts with a smaller set and aims to extend the coverage to older articles using so-called backward snowballing and new articles, so-called forward snowballing. While it might seem easier to start with 10 articles rather than 100 or 200 articles, snowballing requires you to do quite some iterations. And you might end up reading much more articles than with mapping studies or literature reviews. Snowballing has an advantage that you start with a set of relevant articles, and thus you should definitely by default have relevant outcome. Whichever approach you want to try, the main emphasis of systematic processes is that they are replicable and systematic. That enables repeatable and consistent outcome and a good result for your literature review.